sitting here watching ESPN, and the most repeated stories in the history of the world. Okay. When you understand the truth and the principles and the humility and the wisdom of the most repeated stories in the world, their repetition is because it's truthful, it's meaningful. Okay. And when you engage in egotistical fallacy and fantasy, you have heroes, knights in shining armor to save us from people that aren't being truthful, they're not being faithful, they're not being valid human beings, right? Watching this poor gentleman who accepts fallacy, okay, and sits there and busts his ass his whole life. And he probably went to church every Sunday and heard the real meaningful stories of Jesus and David and Moses and Solomon, okay? But is that the same girl that played Mulan? Is the same girl that played Mariko? I can't tell. I don't know. It looks like it could be, but that's irrelevant. What people are doing for philanthropy is absolutely irrelevant. When you're given truthful, faithful, loving, meaningful thoughts, words, and actions to exist as loving people. It's sad that a man sits there and he says, I watched this thing, I looked at it, and this little girl was playing tennis and she made more money in one match than I made a whole year. Okay. Think that's bad, Richard Williams. Think about all those people that had to build the mighty pyramids for Pharaoh that was started being built before the kid was even born, and died building that kid's tomb. Spent his whole life building a rock monument to the egotistical insanity of a man who had his face put on a statue because he declared himself and his family gods. You know? Any of y'all ever been to church? Any of y'all ever understood Exodus? Any of y'all ever understood Acts, Kings? Any of y'all? John, Romans, Hebrews? Any of y'all? Anyone? Y'all on TV. And they all, education, religion, education, and then, old John Wooden's pyramid, right? And it's like, well, y'all talk about God and y'all talk about religion and family. But then you say, philanthropy is somewhere in the pyramid. And Moses didn't ask anybody to build the pyramid for God. Jesus, Muhammad, nope. Solomon, nope. Okay? Now, these people are lost. Okay? And I live to be 105, no jive. I will never, ever understand them. Okay? After January 22nd, 2013. I will never understand them. Okay? As long as I live, I will not understand people that make the movie Air, that make the movie King Richard, that make the movie Mission Impossible, that make the movies, all these movies, the Ultron, Endgame, Infinity Wars. I don't understand them. I would tell my dad that, for years after they kidnapped my kids and I said, I wake up every morning, Dad, and I wonder what the hell is wrong with these people, and I wonder why are they still doing what they're doing? You know, when the truth is evident and peaceful, faithful love is transparent and clear as can be. I don't understand these people hopping on airplanes, flying all over the world, putting in jet fumes. Jet fuel is one of the most toxic, horrible things in the world. Okay? Causes heart disease, cancer. You know, when the thing that they had the little kid, James Bordeaux, sitting there, I'm playing at the University of Iowa, and there's the cancer research hospital, and I want to see everybody wave to the kids. And it's like all the people that flew in on airplanes and drove in their cars and kick up the tire particles and then pray to God to save the children from being killed by economics. I don't get it. As long as I live, I will never understand the people on TV. I don't understand them anymore. When I was a kid, I tried to understand, Like I would watch certain athletes, and one of my favorites to watch was a man named Gil Sayers. Okay. Because I was a littler, faster guy. I knew I wasn't going to be real big. Okay. And I watched the way Gil Sayers navigated his way through all these bigger Dick Butkus and Ray Nitschke type guys that were trying to take his head off. And Gil was like a gazelle, avoiding all the lions and the panthers and the cheetah and all the predators trying to get him, And I knew to myself when I played sports that I was a lot like Gil Sayers. Okay. That's why I was really fond of Gus Williams and the other little guys that I watched when they played. And then I'd go out and play, and I could do that, And I knew I could. I never imagined in my entire life that I would be more talented than Gil Sayers and Gus Williams. Okay. And there was always that thing because, the pretenses and the prejudices and stuff because they were black and I was white, and white guys can't do that. Okay. I didn't know I was going to be, the fastest human being that possibly would have ever been recorded if I had whooped Brian Skibiak's ass and then had a professional football player sit there for the rest of the class period trying to talk me into, you should really think about trying to play college and professional sports. Leo was really sweet about it. And I kept going, no, man, I ain't going to go out there and try to play football in college and pro. And Lawrence Taylor must be the scariest man alive, because I talked to him and we talked about things because I really enjoyed and wanted Leo to be successful as a professional football player, And when we talked and this pro scouts had talked to him, they said he was too small and too slow to play linebacker in the NFL, which he proved them wrong. He played 10 years for the Cincinnati Bengals as a backup and a special teams player. He made the team for like 10 years in a row. Okay. And they told him he was too small and too slow to play professional football, and apparently he was not. Okay, he contributed and he paid his bills and he stayed in there a long time. Right? And Leo was a good guy. Okay. And I'm sure there's a lot in him, and there's still maybe a lot in him that's like Richard Williams. Right? And Michael Jordan and James Jordan and Michael Jordan's mother. But, when they showed me Judah Krishnamurti, when Alan showed me him in 2009 in Sierra Vista, it was 9 or 10, I'm pretty sure it was 9. I sat there and thought to myself, they didn't listen to this guy. They ain't going to listen to me. I'm more abrasive and obnoxious, and I didn't know. And then later I found out he dropped out of school. He wouldn't take the test. Okay, the places that claimed to educate him, okay, gave him like honorary degrees, but he would not participate in the test. He would tell them, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I'm not going to regurgitate it to you. All right, and he did this from the time he was 12 years old. Okay, but because he was picked up by the British and the rich people and was supposed to be the one like the Buddha and the Krishna, he was taken care of by rich people and nurtured and talked to and teach everybody, you're so brilliant and you're so great. Okay? And then here I was the one with all the documentation and stuff saying this is the guy who's supposed to be like David and Jesus Christ. And no, you're just an asshole. You're trying to kill God and replace God with your ego is what I get from all the people around me. Like, wow. I don't envy Gita Krishnamurti. He had to hang out with those people, and I would hate those people and tell them every day, I can't stand you and I hate looking at you. We're going to throw you out in the street. Then throw me out in the street and have me die from poverty and malnutrition. And they'll say this is what the rich British did to the guy who's like the Krishna and the Buddha. Have a nice day. You don't. You're a fucking liar. Like I told that asshole at the county. Hey guys, I love you. Hang in there. We're just cleaning up the technology. It's not working too good.